Y'all know what time it is. It's time for the Abbott Elementary recap. So, welcome back to AAB TV, better known as Authentically RGB TV, the only way that I know how to be. So, again, y'all, it's been a new episode. Let's get into our recap. Now, y'all remember last time Mr. Jacob was going crazy because he didn't even know how he was going to get this end of the year field trip together. But with the help of, some drag queens, he decided, you know what, we're going to have the free field trip to the park, the Smith Playground. And it's a very popular, fun park that a lot of the Philadelphians go to. So they had to finally reserve their spot. And we learned that Jacob got the last spot, even though there was going to be other schools there, but he was excited about it. He's thrilled. He's got papers and the worksheets and things to make it educational, and he's all set up for this field trip. Everybody else is like, boy, we are not doing this at the field trip. Get them folders out my face, get them worksheets out my face. We don't want to work on a field trip. We want to have fun. And so, again, this is a field trip for the entire Abbott Elementary School. And so, because of this, we have our favorite custodian, Mr. Johnson, who is excited. Finally, he can get some things done on his to-do list because none of the kids are there, just the office staff and himself. And he also is going to be going through his keys to get rid of the keys. We all know the running joke and stereotype or trope or whatever you want to call it about a custodian or a janitor, how they always have just a boatload of keys and they don't never know what goes to what. Some of them do, some of them don't. And so, like he said, he's excited to finally get some me time at the school. And he even finds one of Ava's secret hideaways. And what did he say? He used it. He used it, but he abused it. That's what he said. He said, I didn't just use it, I abused it. And so, as everybody is getting prepared to get on the bus and go, we see our besties, Jacob and Janine, who are talking amongst themselves. Janine tried to sit with some kids. They was playing her to the left, so she decided, like I said, to sit with Jacob. And Jacob spilled the beans. What did he spill the beans about? Of course, the fact that Greg has feelings for her. And he played a little back and forth with Janine, knowing that she still had feelings for him as well. And she let him know that she did, which everybody knows that. And he let her know, he's got some stuff to get off his chest, and he may or he may not talk to you about that while we are on the field trip. So I think you should go and sit with him and get a little cuddle buddy going on. And she does that. And they have that. Greg and Janine share some pleasantries and some little jokes, and they get to the park. And when they get to the park, I understand why it's very popular. I love taking my niece and nephews to the big parks, the parks that they have remodeled to make them more like handicap accessible. So it's like a lot of extra fun things, but also safe. So I was just like, this park is really neat. And so they all get to the park, and then that's where all the fun begins. So all of our teachers, Mr. Morton, who is becoming quite the character, he's still going through his separation with his wife. That's his storyline. And so he's there, Jacob's there, Janine, Greg, Ava is there, who's also very ecstatic about being in the park and relaxing on her air chair and just, enjoying the sunlight and just doing her. Everybody is also, chaperoning the kids. Barb and Melissa are there as well. They're chaperoning the kids. They're letting them play around. But as they are playing, they're noticing some other kids from different schools are, being impatient on the playground. They're pushing, they're shoving, as kids often do. Take it from me, I know. They, not taking turns, not sharing. And so the kids are running to, their teachers of both Abbott and the other school and basically tattling on, the other. And so Melissa and Barb decided to take it upon themselves to go and talk to some of the teachers from this other school. And they, tried to handle it with maturity and as adults, but there was a little bit of attitude, a little bit of smart mouthing going on from that other school, and Melissa said she wasn't too fond of it, and neither was Barbara. And so they kept on trying to just let it go until it got to the point where now it's a war. Like, y'all kids keep on trying us, y'all trying us. They're going back and forth about just a whole bunch of petty stuff, y'all, from the water fountain with Jacob and the other teacher, which I thought was pretty cool, because we know a lot of teachers have their water bottles. I clearly have mine, as you can see. And they went to the water fountain, and the other teacher got there first, and Jacob was trying to rush him, and then he's wanting to be petty and fill it up, and then dumped all the water out because he said it was a bug in there, and then wanted to fill it up again, and that would have pissed me off if I'm being all the way real. So like and then Melissa and this other teacher, like I said, was going back and forth, shooting jabs at each other, and they were just like, ugh, like, we just don't like y'all. We don't like y'all kids. Y'all don't like our kids. Like, it's one school against Abbott, and the whole time all of this is going on, Janine and Greg are basically on a date, while also supposed to be watching the kids. And the kids getting upset because they taking over, the swing and all of this stuff, and they're trying to get their turn, but they're kicking back, shooting the breeze, getting to know each other, asking questions like, what's your favorite color, what you like, why you like that color, all this type of things. But before that even happened, they were off to the side saying how they enjoyed the park so far, glad that everybody got to come. And Janine, because we all know that she had been with the district for the majority of the school year, she wanted Greg to take a picture of her while the kids were in the background playing, because she said she didn't have none. So of course he's going to do it like anybody else would. And as he is taking the pictures, boom, we get a notification on Janine's phone from Manny. Freaking Manny the Beard? Yes, Manny the Beard. And he says he wants to know if it'll be okay if he takes her out. And so I don't know what y'all would have done in that situation, but I feel like Greg handled it as cool as he could. So he tried to play it off. But of course, once he gave the phone back to Janine, she noticed that he saw that. They never really discussed it, but they both kind of had these like these looks. And so, he's just like, oh man. Again, he plays it cool, and then Janine just decides to say, you know what, come on, let's just go and do you swing? Let's go on the swings. And that's when I said the kids were upset, because they was basically taking over the playground. Like I said, unbeknownst to them, this whole war is being had with that other school in Abbott. And to my surprise, Principal Ava is basically like, well, y'all cut it out. Y'all being petty. I don't want to hear about this. I'm sure what she say, she was listening to the history of war history and all this other stuff. And, she's on her air chair, which she had to run around and inflate with air, which was so funny because I ain't never seen nothing like that. But she was trying to be on her, chill mode the whole time and just let the kids be kids. And it just seemed like the adults, the more that the kids did to one another, the more that the adults felt like that they had to get their lick back and just go against one another as well. I was just like, this is so petty, but it was also very hilarious. So we get to the point where Greg and Janine decide that they're going to join the teachers back in the middle of the park, because now it is lunchtime. And they're asking what's going on. And again, Melissa's letting them know that it's all out war with this other school, and it's time for lunch. So they go, and again, this other school has just basically just thrown threw all of their lunches, y'all. All of their lunches out to the side in the heat. It's already a park. It's already hot as heck. The sun is beaming down. There's barely any shade, and the only shaded area, which they reserved for themselves, this other school done came and took over. Talk about being mad. Oh my gosh, do y'all know how much I would have went off on that other school if that happened? I'm a person who I could be outside for a little while, but oh my gosh, I don't like sweating like that. I need an area where I can kick back, get away from the bugs. And you mean to tell me you're gonna come, you're gonna grab my stuff? No thank you. And I gotta eat some warm lunches? No thank you. They was eating warm peanut butter and jelly. Now mind you, I love a good peanut butter and jelly, and I heard that the grilled ones are to die for. They're delicious. But I don't care. Don't touch my stuff. I literally had to like wipe off my bottle from Kroger yesterday, because I had the cashier, when he rang it up, how he grabbed it, and I had already opened it, and drunk out of it. But of course I was gonna pay for it. It's fine. But I had to wipe it off because I didn't like that. I don't like people touching the top of my cups and all the other stuff. Like, I'm so like worried about stuff like that. I don't know, maybe it's just me, I don't know. But I would have been so heated if anybody touched my stuff and I'm thinking that it's in a safe space and somebody gonna move it and then wanna like boast about it in my face that you just did it and you don't care. And now me and all the rest of the school gotta sit in heat. And when the kids get hot, y'all can tell it's almost in the school year. But when how I'm just like up in arms about these kids. But when them kids get hot, they get cranky, they get whiny. No, and you gonna touch my stuff? No, thank you. I would have went off. But anyways, that's what they did. They sure did. They took Abbott stuff and threw it off into the freaking middle of the park. Took their spot where it's supposed to be shady, and you know they could relax and chill before it was time to go back to school. And so that was just the icing on the cake. So of course Melissa decided that she gonna confront one of the teachers who basically just kept on talking smack to her. And so that's what she did. She confronted her, and then at the end of the day they was like, you know what, we're gonna settle it. We're gonna settle this. Let's go head to head. Like I said, Ava, she wasn't here for it at first, and kept saying, you know, y'all let kids be kids. Y'all being more petty than y'all need to be. Again, I'm trying to relax and do this and do that. Whole time, didn't even know that school that they were, you know, beefing with was her soror's school. And in comes the soror talking about, hey, soror, and she's just like, are you serious? This is your school? Oh no, let's fight. Let's fight these people. Let's get them. And we all know from a couple of episodes ago that this soror, like, they have this hate relationship with each other. They're always in competition with each other, or she's always in competition with Ava, and they just don't like each other. And so because of this all-out war between the schools, Ava decides that they're gonna have a good old-fashioned relay race, and whoever wins gets to have possession of the park and do whatever they want to do, and this huge slide. And everybody and the kids are cheering on, they're ready, and I'm like, oh my gosh, the kids are about to just be so cute racing. Oh, was I in for a surprise? So mind you, while all this is taking place, there was a time where Jacob asked to have, you know, talk to Greg to get some fresh air. And Greg was like, you're already outside. You're in the fresh air. He was like, well, good. That means it won't take long. I remember I did that before too. I was like, I need to go outside. The whole time I was already outside. Yeah. Alcohol may or may not have been involved. But anyways, they go off to the side, and again Jacob is asking Greg, okay, so have you had the discussion with Janine yet? When are you going to let her know how you feel? You said you were ready, you want to do it. And Greg is like, the next time we're alone, I'm finally gonna let my feelings out. And then he lets Jacob know that he saw the text message from Manny, and he was like, but you know what, it didn't even bother me. That didn't make me down. That didn't make me want to not tell her. It motivated me even more to let her know how I felt. This is what I really want to do. And Jacob's like, oh my God, yes. And so again, we get to the point where they are about to have this relay race, and to my surprise, it's the adults, and the kids are like ready, set, go. So they take off. They're going through the relay. They go up the slide, they go through the monkey bars, they go Jacob has to spin around and go the balance beam. Greg is on the tricycle. Janine was the one that did the monkey bars, by the way. And at first they didn't even want Janine on the team because they said her limbs was little and she was gonna bring down the team. But of course they needed everybody's involvement, so they allowed her to play. And I was just like, and she volunteered to do the monkey bars, and here go Greg talking about, yeah, she can do it, I know she can do it. But because before that she was afraid to do it because of the height difference. And I was like, if I'm the same height as Quinta Brunson, and the monkey bars from a majority of my childhood, and probably even now at 36 years old, I would still be a little bit afraid of heights. And them monkey bars, like, yeah, it's just weird. So yeah, it feels like a 6-story jump, if you ask me. So they're going through, and they're racing. And to everybody's surprise, Abbott Elementary won. right? They Barbara was the person who they had go through the tunnel, and then she was running. And what was so funny, y'all know she loves the Lord, and so she was slowing down, she was getting tired, and all of a sudden Ava yells, "Satan's running after you, girl!" And that gave her all the motivation she needed to go through the finish line. Jacob was dizzy, but he did a good job. Greg did a good job. Janine did, she finally made it. She faced her little fear of the monkey bars, and then in the middle of the race starts dancing, and they're like, "Girl, if you don't stop dancing and go," and she's, "Oh." So then, so Abbott won. But like I said, even before that, y'all, some things went down on the slide. Having this little huddle about who's gonna do what before the relay race started. Greg and Janine again find themselves alone, and now they're at this big wooden slide, which was fire. Because at 36 years old, if I seen that slide, I'm going down it. It had the little sacks to get into as well. It was really cute, and it was sheltered, covered. And so they're on there and they're talking, having their little getaway. Remember, Greg doesn't know that Janine knows he's gonna, express his love for her. He is, building up the courage to do that. She's waiting. She's like, "Oh my God, oh my God." So they go down the slide. It's real cute. And then they decide to just lay down and look at each other's eyes at the bottom of the slide. And it's a really wide slide. And so they look at each other with this little love in their eyes, and then he gets up to say something, and boom, here's Ava, because they had to go look for them because they wanted them to be a part of their relay team. And she's like, "What the heck are y'all doing?" And then Mr. Morton, like I said, the whole time he's been on the phone with his wife that he's, getting separated or divorced from. And she's like, he thought that Ava was talking to him, and he was explaining, I was on my phone with my wife or whatever. She's like, "No, I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to them." And then he's just like, "If I never would have married somebody that I worked with." And then Ava was like, "What did you say? Enlighten us." And so Mr. Morton gets to talking about how him and his wife were teachers, and they had classrooms next to each other, and they loved each other so much, and they, they had to, they went against everybody else's opinion and decided to date and decided to get married. And then all of a sudden, they just hated each other because they was around each other too much, and they had to move to different school and take less money, and now they're going through the divorce. And this whole time, we know that Greg and Janine literally, care about each other so much. They're next door to each other. They hang with each other. They got feelings for each other. And they're looking at each other, look like, "Oh, no, like maybe we shouldn't do it." They're not saying it, but their faces and how they're looking at each other is just like, do you hear this? Like, inside they're probably thinking like, maybe we shouldn't do this. And the whole time Ava's like, sounds familiar. Let him know, yeah, you shouldn't do it. Like, just egging it on, like, "Yeah, I know what y'all doing, but don't do it. Y'all need to take this advice," And that whole time I'm just like, no, don't do this. Like, Greg finally realized and admitted his love for our girl, and she's ready and willing for him to say what he needs to say. And now you want to come and throw salt on them and what he's about to do. And I was just like, this is why you can't listen to people who are bitter, who are miserable, who don't want to see things for what they are, and just project all of their stuff onto you, because it messes up your blessing. It messes up your relationships. It messes up what you got going when you let everybody, what they say, third parties in your ear because of their experiences. That don't mean it's gonna be your experience. And I was like, no, I done watched this episode twice, and the whole time I'm like, Greg, don't do it. But y'all know they're gonna keep us guessing. They're gonna keep us hoping and wishing and wanting them to do it, and they always get this close, and then something always happens. So after that, Ava's like, "Come on, y'all, we need to go. We need to get this race over with." And so they just look at each other, and he helps her up, and they just walk away. And Greg says, "I just was so excited. I thought about how all these things I could say and how it could go right, that I never thought that this situation could go wrong." And he was like, "Now I gotta try again, work up enough nerve to try again. And I was like, man, why they playing with us? Why they playing with us like that? Don't be listening to people. So, like I said, Mr. Johnson, had his to-do list. He wanted to get some things done. He done found Ava's little secret bathroom that we saw, I believe, like first season. And, the secretary was telling him that, she don't like people going in the basement. He was like, man, I don't care about what she's talking about. He done cracked the code to her secret place. And like I said, used and abused her bathroom. Talking about he done lost 20 pounds. And now his pants ain't got a sag. And he ain't never gonna wear no suspenders, because the suspenders are for weirdos or something that he said. And so he also said he found all the matches to the keys and identified what goes to what, but he didn't find a match to one, so he threw it away. After that, why he walk outside? And that was the key to get back into school. And he was like, so he had to stay out there the entire time until till everybody got back. And he was trying to rush them, like, man, I've been at her all day. And he was just like, I locked myself out. And then somebody said, well, I guess it's school, never be school again. And the kids was all like, yay. And Ava was like, no, you're wrong. If that was the case, I would have locked us out a long time ago. So then as he's walking into the school, he lets Ava know, I found your secret spot. And she was like, please tell me you did not go in there. And he was like, I did. And she was like, no, and ran away. And then there was a little conversation between Greg and Janine. It never was brought up again about Manny. Never really was brought up about what was supposed to happen between them two on that slide. And they was just like, well, I guess I'll go in here and help, and I'll see you tomorrow? And they was like, yeah. And then they just walk away, kind of looking out in the camera, all sad or whatnot, like, dang. And I said, dang, my daggone self. Because I'm so tired of them being this close and nothing, something always happens. I want them to be together so bad, but it keeps the people watching. You got to keep the people wanting more. And then what was even funnier, y'all, was at the end. Y'all know it was funny because that's how I be feeling sometimes. Even man, I don't even consider myself old. Y'all, why did everybody come into the break room broke down? Just broke all the way down. Ava had a neck brace on. Janine, I think she was icing something. So was Barbara. They was just all tore down. Just too old. And Greg was just like, I told y'all needed to stretch before y'all start running. And he was like, and everybody's like, oh, shut up. And then in comes Mr. Johnson with his pants all the way to his daggone chest. And he was talking about they look silly and stuff. And they was like, I know you ain't talking. Again, he refuses to wear suspenders because it's for weirdos or whatever he said. So when y'all see this episode, or if y'all already watched it, y'all will see why this man I didn't even remember seeing this part the first time that I watched it, but this man is funny. I said, why would he walk around this school with them pants up like that? Like, that was so funny. Oh my gosh, it was so funny. And it was so funny seeing everybody just tore down and broke down, because y'all know we ain't young spring chickens no more. So we run and we do too many exercises and our bodies ain't used to it. We hurting the next day, and that's crazy to me. But this was such a cute episode. I love it. I hope I didn't miss nothing. I don't think I did. And then I think it's like maybe another episode or two left. But this was so good. But y'all, don't be listening to people blocking y'all blessings by projecting themselves onto you. Don't be like Greg and Janine. Don't let nobody throw salt in your game, because it ain't always gonna happen the same way that it happened for them. Right. So that was the end of the recap. I love this show so much. I say it over and over and over again. It's just such a freaking good show. And I read somewhere, I got some type of like randomly, I got a notification from Google, and it's like all these different articles sometimes. And one of them said that Abbott Elementary will be moved to 9:30 p.m. and there's going to be like a show from Shonda Rhimes, I believe, that's taking the 9 o'clock spot, which I was just like, but that means that everybody else will be already looking at the channel, and it'll give everybody another chance to look. If if they haven't watched Abbott, it'll give other people opportunity to watch it as well. So I'm not mad at the later time. It's just 30 minutes, even though I wish the show was like an hour long. But I'm so happy that they've already, got the okay for season 4. I'm so proud of Quinta Brunson. I'm so happy for the specific cast. Like, this show is just like so well put together, and I just watch it over and over and over and over. And I can relate because I work at a school. I'm an assistant teacher, right? But I'm about to be a certified teacher. So just some of the things that other people may not notice, I noticed and understand a little bit better. So it's funny to me. Workplace comedy is always funny to me. Yeah, y'all. So I'm about to go and get ready for tomorrow for work. It'll be Friday. So I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. I hope you had a wonderful day. You do not have to watch, but you do. And I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. And I'll see y'all on the next one.